pour une Océanie égale.
Holoki ai ngahi āwahewahe.
Ni saveluk Oceania.
E whaeloa atu ina I anofo mā lama lama.
Strong Bella Oceania.
America Samoa, lau sei, lau aute, o te tiwai I le Pasifika, ma le laulangi atoa.
Kamapi mo Oceania.
Tur ei te whaito o te tuer āpopo.
O katikewe kina noa sa Pasifika.
Aratakianga tira tira tu.
He waka e te noa.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to what is a milestone night for Oceania Football Confederation with the launch of their first ever women's football strategy. But before we get into the details, a few housekeeping rules. If you haven't already, please make sure you've scanned in using the Park Hyatt COVID QR code. If you have any special dietary requirements, please let your server know. And this is a non-smoking venue, and if you want to smoke or vape, as people do nowadays, please go downstairs and exit the hotel. The bathrooms are down the corridor next to the bar, and in the case of an emergency, please follow hotel staff who will direct us out of the building using the main staircase to the ground floor. And one more thing, if I clap, you all clap, okay? Got it? Great. Now that's out the way, thank you all so much for being here tonight. I'm your host, Narelle Sindos, and I'll be guiding you through the evening. And can I just say I'm very privileged to be a part of this monumentous occasion as OFC launched their first ever women's football strategy called All In. Woo! I didn't even need to prompt you on that one. And the name speaks for itself. The hard-working team behind Oceania Football has gone above and beyond to put together this innovative scheme. The plan of attack is to have two teams from the Oceania region contesting the FIFA Women's World Cup 2027. And one of the ways to do that is by getting as many girls and women involved in the beautiful game as possible across all 11 member associations and 2 associate members. And for those who can't be here physically tonight, they are joining us through the power of technology. So it's a hello and welcome, Bula Vanaka, Talofa Lava, Malo Lele, Maltock and bonjour to all of our guests through the screen. And they can actually see you guys as well. So give them a wave, but direct the waves to the cameras at the back there. A little misleading. We are also streaming this event live on YouTube and My Kuju. This really is a reason to celebrate. Every girl and woman, from volunteers to CEOs, have been consulted to make sure we implement the strongest strategy possible to achieve our target of having 2 teams from the region represent us on the world's biggest stage. And throughout the evening, we'll be hearing from FIFA President Gianni Infantino, OFC Executive Committee member Johanna Wood, as well as the people who will be directly involved in the plan. But first, let's speak with OFC President and FIFA Vice President Lambert Maltock, who I believe is at the Grand Hotel in Vanuatu. Lambert, how's your night going so far?
Our target of having 2 teams from the region represent us on the world's biggest stage. And throughout the evening,
I'll take that as a yes, I think.
President
Lambert, can you hear me?
Executive Committee member Johanna Wood, as well as the people who will be directly involved in the plan.
Well, we've got a pretty big audience here in Auckland and online. So, Lambert, can you just tell everyone a bit more about the strategy and what this means for football in general?
Thank you. I think tonight is really exciting. This is a new.
Good evening to you all. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us tonight. We are pleased and honored to welcome the FIFA President, FIFA representatives, fellow OFC Executive Committee members, and member association staff, OFC partners, staff, and guests. Welcome to the launch of the Oceania Football Confederation Women's Football Strategy. It is both a pleasure and an honor that the first OFC Women's Football Strategy has been developed during my mandate as President of the Oceania Football Confederation, along with my fellow OFC Executive Committee members. We have a unique opportunity in the Pacific in the build-up to the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 in Australia and New Zealand. Capitalizing on the momentum of the World Cup will assist us to bring women's football to the forefront in Oceania and enable us to grow the game from grassroots to the elite level. The objective is to increase the development, growth, sustainability, and professionalization of women's football in Oceania, leading to greater performances on the world stage. What you see before you is the hard work of a dedicated group of individuals who are committed to driving women's football in the Pacific forward. The OFC Women's Football Strategy 2027 is a contract binding the governors and administrators of football in Oceania to deliver on every aspect of this strategy at every level over the next 6 years. It is in fact crucial if we are to achieve our vision of featuring 2 competitive Oceania teams at the FIFA Women's World Cup 2027. This strategy links directly with a wider OFC football development strategy to ensure it is fully aligned and integrated within the organization. It has been created to be adaptable enough to suit the varying needs of each member association while remaining steadfast in its core vision, mission, and values. We would like to thank the OFC member associations and stakeholders for having an all-in mentality through their invaluable contribution to this strategy and for their ongoing collaboration and commitment to bring it to life. I would also like to thank FIFA for their support throughout this. Our commitment is to bring this strategy to life and to provide opportunities for all women across the Pacific to find their place in the world of football. We are all in. Are you as well?
That's a great question. Are we all in, guys? Yeah? Disclosure, we did have that pre-recorded just in case the internet in Vanuatu didn't pull through, and well, it's a good thing we did. But Lambert's into his third year as OFC President and is doing a fantastic job as always. Thank you so much for that, Lambert. Now, another first for the region has been appointing ambassadors to help raise the visibility of women's football and their respective national teams. So it only makes sense for these ambassadors to represent their country at the highest level on and off the field, with each of the 11 full member associations playing for their countries. So from New Zealand, we have Michaela Moore, American Samoa, Olivia Vamoanga, Cook Islands, Teratia Tinake, New Caledonia, Jackie Power, Samoa, Turian Line Lewis, Fiji, Naomi Wangani Drola, Vanuatu, Rita Solomon, Tahiti, Kiani Wong, Tonga, Lostika Feke, Solomon Islands, Leida Samani, and Papua New Guinea, Yvonne Gabong. And we're actually really fortunate to have two of our ambassadors in the house tonight, Teratia from the Cook Islands and TJ Line Lewis from Samoa. Woo! But we will be hearing from all of them throughout the evening. But first, let's start with our ambassadors flying the flag for Fiji, Vanuatu, Cook Islands and Tahiti.
I was introduced into football when I was 15 years old. I hadn't played football when I was growing up. It was just rugby and touch rugby with my other siblings or the neighbor. I didn't tell my parents I was playing football until I made the national squad for the under-16. I've been going to train straight after school without my parents knowing. I had no boots, so I had to sneak my brother's boot from home to use during trainings. Some afternoons I come home late and I don't do my chores, and this is when I get the love from my parents. My advice to young girls attend Oceania or here in Fiji is to believe in yourself, believe that you can. Never be afraid to make mistakes when you're playing, so that you may be able to learn and grow from the mistakes that you make and be a better version of yourself. And most importantly is always try to be humble when you're trying to achieve something bigger in your life.
Rita Solomon, mi got 20 years lo yeah. Mi plo island plo pama lo an small village silvalem talnisa. Silbandala number 3. Naya mi sta help out lo akatalo FFF lo set lo commit registration lo help ma tokta register al player lo PFFA. Time mi start plo play I got from UNK lale. Mami with the tatista tok plantage imeno minusut mas takwai laos me kokulol kel kainape from me really like a football to mas o time start play mo to start pro sabote mina for to look se potential me lo set football mi improve lem plan. So one me want the talem mi kolol kel not only lo Vanuatu pe lo Oceania se you stop you like a play football you know things you know say me game suppose me save me game you too save me game. And naya lista focus plantel women's football around Oceania, and me believe say suppose you been stop where you really want to get involved in football, do so. From by no help you only by no help you lo health play no more by make you look something ko you have discipline you want, but make you no get involved lo narrative well yang full lista get involved lem today.
Hi, I come from the Cook Islands. I was born and raised in Rarotonga, the main island. I live in the village of Tutakimo, Avarua. I've moved to New Zealand for studies. I'm in my second year studying a Bachelor of Sport and Recreation. I live with my dad's sister in Weymouth. Although I do miss my family back at home, I do enjoy my time with my family here. While studying at university, I was incredibly lucky to have been offered an internship at OFC. I'm embedded into the social responsibility department. I'm also helping out with the Just Play curriculum and the deliverance of the program to the member associations. At the age of 10, I was introduced to football through a school comp, and I loved it and I've never looked back. After graduating at Auckland University of Technology, I'm hoping to return home to share my knowledge with my people. The best piece of advice I can give is to stay committed and work hard to accomplish your dreams, and most importantly, to have fun along the way.
Johanna, je suis Wangiani, j'ai 20 ans, je suis polynésienne et surtout je suis footballeuse de haut niveau. Je suis actuellement en Allemagne, je joue au FC Saarbrücken en D2 allemande. Ma passion, c'est le football. Je fais que du football, j'aime que le football. J'ai des petits hobbies, j'aime bien sortir avec mes amis, ma famille, et avec le football. À toutes les petites filles qui veulent participer à la Coupe du Monde féminine, je leur souhaite vraiment parce qu'en tant que footballeur ou footballeuse, c'est le plus gros challenge que tu puisses faire. Et pour y arriver, comme je le dis toujours, il faut toujours continuer à travailler, il ne faut pas lâcher, il faut toujours aller au bout de vos rêves et je suis sûre que vous allez tous y arriver.
Now, our next guest speaker is someone who really doesn't need an introduction, but I'll probably get in trouble if I don't give him one. This person's been extremely busy the past week. He's been in Brazil watching Argentina claim their first Copa America title since 1993. He jetted across to London to watch Italy beat England at Wembley. Too soon? No? Doesn't sound like a bad job though, does it? So joining us now is FIFA President Gianni Infantino. FIFA President, can you hear us okay?
Yes, Narelle, and I hope you can hear me too. Yep. Dear OFC President, dear Lambert, dear presidents and members, dear distinguished guests, dear friends, it is a real honor to speak to you all this evening for the launch of the OFC Women's Football Strategy. Thank you, dear Lambert, for the invitation to address you on a topic that is close to my heart. Since being elected FIFA President in 2016, women's football continues to be a top priority for me and my administration. We have recognized the women's game as the biggest growth opportunity to our sport today, and one of the first things we have done in order to guide our work is to create a dedicated global strategy for women's football. Furthermore, as part of my vision for women's football, I have established 4 priority areas that will allow us to accelerate its growth. These include reforming competitions, enhancing the professionalization and commercial value of the women's game, and modernizing development programs. As we saw in 2019, the FIFA Women's World Cup is a clear catalyst to boosting our efforts in developing the women's game. In France, a global audience of over 1.2 billion people witnessed heroes emerge that inspired a new generation of players, coaches, fans and volunteers throughout the world. Since then, FIFA has continued to show leadership and commitment to women's football by creating more opportunities for all member associations to drive forward their efforts despite the global pandemic. This includes increasing our investment to $1 billion over the current cycle and expanding the next FIFA Women's World Cup to 32 teams. We have also provided dedicated support to women's football during the pandemic through the COVID-19 relief plan. In 2023, the world will once again witness the power of women's football in your region, with New Zealand and Australia hosting the FIFA Women's World Cup for the very first time. As the first ever FIFA Women's World Cup to be co-hosted across two confederations, the potential impact and legacy of this tournament for Oceania, for Asia, and the rest of the world is undeniable. In the build-up to this World Cup, today's launch of the OFC women's football strategy represents a historic and hugely significant moment for women's football in Oceania and the Pacific region. By providing member associations with a clear purpose and direction, this new strategy will lay the foundations to an exciting new era where women's football can thrive across the region. We want to see 60 million women and girls across the world playing our game by 2026. And in order to realize this objective, we need the support of the confederations and member associations to provide the pathways and the framework for these players, both on and off the pitch. So on behalf of FIFA, I would like to congratulate Lambert, Johanna, Rajesh, and my dear colleagues at the OFC and the Oceans 11 for the launch of your strategy and wish you every success in forging a new path for women's football in your region. Together with OFC, FIFA is all in for women's football, and you can always count on FIFA's support. So thank you very much and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, President FIFA Gianni. So great to have him involved in the launch of this new football strategy all the way from Switzerland. Now it's time for our first cultural performance of the evening from Tuinga Dance Academy, who will be performing a mixture of Melanesian and Polynesian cultural dances.
You once walked the earth with the uncertainties of life, but you continue to persevere, leaving an imprint on every soul that came into your sight.
Toli he kakala, to ahono mausa, pea te ki he sola hotaka. No no fope ihe, ho ho tamaka, to fano mo he tue, moi fakala betala, he ai manula no ae, toli he kakala, to ahono mausa, pea te ki he sola hotaka.
Pacific woman whose courage has no boundaries, nor is it confined. She fearless, fierce, compassionate, wise. Her love is unconditional, loving, kind.
The strength of a Pacific woman is as strong as the basalt rocks sculptured around the shorelines of the sea. Standing the test of time, she lives on, far beyond this life. Ole tamaita I Samoa, e tu mau, e whaavavau.
Fa'apai se isau no ala e Samoa amata ususu le ayuli alui le atoa sulu ile malo mamalua ile tuinga salani le uua ovale ila awalunga ioleta so asili le mata ina fai mamalule fai ba isilile sila sila taula wanga ba isio sasa ele mamaluna youla esilia tulava iona poneila Samoa mamalua ila valo sau no Olo anele fua malepa o fai mali e ole pati malepo sei fa solo fai wa sauni amalene aso so ala tele la vale fata fiti au lunga le sona ta fiti e uteo fia ngafa asabo moni lava uasi fai mamalule fai silile sila taula wanga va isio sasa le mamaluna youla esilia tulava iona poneila Samoa mamalua ila valo sau
Thank you so much to Winga Dance Academy for that amazing performance, and don't worry, they will be back a little bit later on. Now it's time to hear from our next group of women's football ambassadors.
Ko losti ka feke, ko tau taha waluen, ko tupa ke mau ki whanau, ayak mau toko ono, ko sisi taha. Nau tupa ke pei hasin, whaingata mau pe kau i ngā nei, ke wha popo e tangatai ki ke o alu ngā kusio ke kiti, po uri, fok po uri mai mo mea. Ka ko whakaloto lahe ka te motolo, aki motolo mo fiestoka. O te moloto si, ka mo mui o moloto. Mo e ki pou pe, ake ki whai vesta loto pe he. Palala ke asihova aki ho loto kotoa, te owana ke wha aki ki o poto o. Ke whakaongo ke te ia i o hala kotoa pe. Me teni whakatonton e ia ho ngahi alu anga. Ilanga pokahanga i challenge mo ngahi pole kotoa pe o mo ui. Ka kawe e ki o ngahi mea hono kotoa. Te ke lava. Pe te ulava, pe te tau lava e ngai mea kotoa.
is TJ Lion Lewis, birth name Torian, which is half my grandmother's name and my granddad's name. I am 26. I live here in Palmerston North. When I was 17 years old, I finished high school and moved to Palmerston North to chase football, basically. My main football influences throughout my life have been my direct family. At one point we were all playing in the same team in Levin until my dad was too competitive. But growing up and getting into young adulthood, my dad has been a big influence. For me, he will drive anywhere to come and watch me play for even half a game, even to this day. I think the most important advice I would give is to make the most of your opportunities. So whether they're big or small, kind of take them on board and use it to your own advantage, because you'll get to my age of 26 or, older, and you'll start to realise all those little things did add up and help you become the person you are now.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Pawa Jackie, j'ai 19 ans, je suis internationale calédonienne, je suis attaquante et j'ai commencé le foot à l'âge de 6 ans. Quand j'étais petite, ma première passion ça a été le football. Je faisais que ça, que le football, je mangeais football, je dormais football et je dormais même avec le ballon de football. Le foot ça tient de famille, c'est notre grand-père qui a commencé à jouer au foot dans les grands clubs. On est tous passés dans le club de l'AS Mandor. Porter le maillot de la Nouvelle-Calédonie, c'est une grande fierté pour permettre de représenter le pays, mais aussi la famille qui nous suit depuis petit. Là, c'est toutes mes coupes depuis que j'ai commencé ma carrière de football, c'est toutes coupes confondues, avec toutes les finales que j'ai pu jouer en club et en sélection aussi. En 2018, c'est là que j'ai commencé à intégrer la sélection A calédonienne de football. J'aimerais bien participer encore à toutes ces sélections pour pouvoir évoluer en grandes équipes après. Oui, la Coupe du Monde, c'est un rêve.
Now, our next guest speaker is someone who played a massive part in securing New Zealand co-hosting rights for the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. She's the President of New Zealand Football and Oceania's FIFA Council member representative, and she is the only female member of OFC's Executive Committee. Please welcome to the stage Johanna Wood.
Thanks, Narelle. No mai, haere mai, piki mai, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. President Infantino, President Lambert, Member Association President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a delight to stand here tonight and address you as Oceania paves out a new milestone for women's football in the Pacific. Why is the launch of Oceania's women's strategy such a milestone? It is a milestone because there is a vision within Oceania to have two competitive teams, women's teams, represent us at World Cup 2027. To achieve this vision, we need to prepare the pathways now. We cannot leave it up to chance. Or as we say here in New Zealand, she'll be right, mate, it'll happen. There needs to be a commitment to making it happen, and this strategy is part of the development going forward. Also, there is no better time to launch this strategy than now, as we move towards World Cup 2023, co-hosted right here in Aotearoa, New Zealand and Australia. A word of caution though, any plan or strategy is only as good as its implementation. So there is an onus on all of our member associations to play their part and ensure that this strategy is implemented in their place and their space. Each of our member associations needs to be committed to this strategy. And as leaders of these associations, we need to ensure that we resource and the implementation and we support our staff who are supporting those at grassroots. If we do this, then we will see the untapped talent of Oceania and the Pacific realised. I see a real strength of this strategy being its differentiated approach. In other words, this strategy enables each of our Oceania member associations to focus on women's football by allowing them to start their journey from where they are now. It doesn't mean that the association can stay where it is. Rather, it provides us with a roadmap to enable us to create an accessible, equitable, and inclusive footballing culture for all. One that inspires women and girls both on and off the pitch. What this strategy says is that while we are already doing things in the women and girls football space now, there are other things that we can do and that we can improve on. This strategy makes us all accountable, whether we are a governor, an administrator, a coach, a referee, a player, or a fan. However, no plan just appears in our inbox or in the videos and launch that we see here tonight. It takes a collaborative approach. It requires planning, the collating of ideas from the input of many, and many drafts before the final approval is given. Then it is the responsibility of those governing the game to provide the resources for implementation to occur. And more importantly, it is the governors who have the responsibility to monitor and evaluate the success of the plan going forward. I know that there have been many hours put into this strategy by Oceania staff and member association representatives. But in particular, I would like to thank Emma Evans for her ongoing commitment to women's football in Oceania. Emma, you have a passion and a commitment not to just supporting, but also developing women in football. So thank you from all of us. Let's give her another hand. The All-In OFC Women's Football Strategy 2027 is about having an equal, a visible, a stronger, an elevated, and an inclusive Oceania. So are you all in? Great. Are you all in? Yes, we're in. In closing, I'm going to leave you with the words of a whakatauki, a Māori proverb. Hei waka e ka noa. We are all in this canoe together. No reira, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thank you so much, Johanna. We'll see you back here later on as well. And for those of you who don't know Emma in the room, she's actually right there. Okay, that's enough, all right. Well, without further ado, let's meet the last of our Oceania Women's Football Ambassadors.
Name me Leida Hanita Samani. Me come from Malaita. Currently, me no Karewaka. Me stop with him parents. We just completing studies last year. We doing diploma business, finance, 3. Playing football as a female. Yeah, I'm facing few challenges too, like solo culture and got an impact lo women's games here. This time have changed through lo introduction of football lo schools, through lo grassroots programs lo like Just Play. Hem changing mota people for looking how football hem got an impact lo tikini ni bota. love football. Everything is possible. Eh? If you got a dream for play the World Cup one day, it's a dream, no? If you work hard. You can be anything in life if you set in goals, do right. And stay the pathway, the active goals. All you need is commitment, sacrifice, discipline. Then you're achieving what you like or goals where you got in.
Hi, my name is Olivia Lynn Miliame Mahinava Mo'unga, and I'm 20 years of age. I graduated from Pasal Maris High School, class of 2019, and am attending my second year in American Samoa Community College and is studying in criminal justice. I am full Tongan. I come from the villages of Sakala, Fonkongo, and Nu'uli. Soccer was really tough back then because we couldn't find many girls to come join us. But one of the difficult challenges that I faced was when they selected me to be the captain of the American Samoa under-19 national team. And being a captain is a whole nother level. To pursue this profession with all that you got, take every opportunity to better yourself physically and mentally. There's no limit when you pursue something with passion and to carry on even during unforeseen difficulties.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Gabong. I was born in August 29, 1995. I come from a mixed parentage of Manus and Medeng. My dad is from Medeng and my mom is from Manus. I am currently studying diploma in networking at IA College of Tech. The best memories that I had when I was growing up was playing in the backyard with my small brother. We played a game of soccer, and then I was taking shots at a goal and he was the keeper. And then I took a shot and then I broke his tooth, and then my father was like, he came and he ran and he asked my small brother what happened, and my small brother said, Yvonne kicked the ball and broke my teeth. And then from there, my father got up and he told me that this shows that one day you are going to play soccer. I think in the past there wasn't like lots of young girls taking part in football because I think everyone thinks that football is for male only, but it was really hard for me. Sometimes I feel like giving up, but my mother was always there for me to encourage me and push me to never give up and to work hard so I could to achieve my soccer dreams. My advice to the little young boys and girls growing up playing football is to never give up and to chase your dreams and to work hard and to be determined and to have perseverance that you can achieve your goals and dreams in football.
My name's Michaela Moore. I'm 25 years old, currently playing professional football for Liverpool Women. I'm from a family of 4. I love dogs. I'm studying a Bachelor of Health Science through Massey University. I was first introduced at the age of 4. My father played, not for a very long time, but he'll say I got my ability from him. Born and bred in Christchurch, Cantabrian through and through, yeah. When I found out that there was a possibility that I could go to a club like Liverpool, like my eyes lit up. This part of the world has struggled with women's football for a while, and it's not easy to compete on the world stage even coming from New Zealand. It's a tough ask, so to be able to hear that they're putting plans in place to help not only us, but more so the other nations that are a part of OFC that need them more, more guidance and more help. And I think it's going to be massive and something that the girls
are probably extremely excited for, and I'm excited for them because it's an opportunity that they've probably been, you know, wanting and needing for a very long time. And so that's massive.
So there you have it, all 11 of our women's football ambassadors, and Michaela Moore is actually in Japan for the Olympics, so we wish her all the best of luck. Now, if you are just joining us on the live stream, welcome to the party. We're here at the Park Hyatt here in Auckland with a sensational view, so welcome. Now we are going to hear from someone who's been involved with this strategy from start to finish. He's been part of OFC for 12 years and has spent a lot of time in Tahiti, so he knows everything there is to know about football in the Pacific. So here to give us a bit of an idea of the footballing history in the region and will actually reveal what the strategy entails is OFC General Secretary Frank Castillo.
Thank you very much, Norel. It's not a hologram. I'm physically present with you tonight. Kia ora, Johanna, bonsoir, and good evening to all our eminent guests. Thank you for being here with us tonight, physically and virtually. You have heard some strong messages about women's football from our OFC president, from Johanna and all our OFC executive members. They set up a clear vision and mission for OFC administration to ensure that the women's game increases in development, growth, sustainability, professionalism, and ultimately to qualify 2 teams at the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2027. Over the years, we have worked closely with our member associations to help them to grow their capacity in women's football. While significant advances have been made, a greater level of equality, investment, and leadership is required in Oceania to pursue the same level of growth and professionalization that women's football is seeing globally. There is a vast amount of untapped potential and opportunity across Oceania, both on and off the pitch. With the added motivation of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 being hosted within our confederation, such a pride, OFC aims to implement a women's football strategy and system-wide legacy which will accelerate the growth and professionalization of women's football and lead to a greater performances in the world stage. For 11 months, our women's football manager, Emma Evans, and I would like to ask Emma to come with me tonight. Please, Emma, come with me on stage. Under the leadership of our Chief of Football, Patrick. Patrick, come on stage too. And the Head of Football Development, Paul. Please come, Paul. Paul, come on stage. Emma has worked really hard with all OFC departments and our member associations. So within the football division, she has worked alongside Patrick and Paul, but not only. Also with our head of education and high performance, Owen, unfortunately is not with us tonight. He's currently in Japan for the Olympics. Our head of referee, Kevin. Kevin, can you please come on stage? It's good for you to put faces on people who have worked in this strategy. As well as our head of social responsibility, Michael. Michael, please come. So Emma has also worked with the operations division under the leadership of Frederic Guimont, Chief of Operations Officer. Please come, Fred. With our head of competitions, Chris. Chris, please join us. With our head of commercial and communication, Steffi, and we can thank Steffi and her team as well as Beatrice for this wonderful event. It was really hard to organize, but I think it's a big success. Thank you very much, Steffi. as well as with our head of finance and services, Ray. Please, Ray. Finance important. Come. And our head of legal and compliance, Barbara. Barbara, please, come and join us. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your passion, for your commitment. Your input in the strategy will make a real difference. Last, but not least, we have all worked with Johanna. And Johanna, could you please come with us on stage? Such a passionate woman, especially for women's football. Johanna has been very, very much involved in this strategy. And tonight, she's representing our president and the executive committee members. So the implementation of this comprehensive strategy will see equal opportunities and more visibility for girls and women in football. We will increase investment in participation and high performance, in capacity building programs for women, on and off the pitch. And we will create career pathways that have not previously existed for women within the Pacific. Because these opportunities and pathways are crucial to inspiring girls and women to pursue their dreams. So as you can see, we are all in. Are you? Yes. Nami, Maruru, merci, and thank you. Without further delay now, let's reveal the OFC's Women Football Strategy 2027.
Oceania Football Confederation is all in with its inaugural Women's Football Strategy that will lay the foundations of achieving OFC's ambitious goal to qualify 2 teams for the FIFA Women's World Cup 2027. A greater level of equality, investment and leadership is required in Oceania to increase the development, growth, sustainability and professionalisation of women's football, leading to greater performances on the world stage. Our vision? A future in football for all, creating an accessible, equitable and inclusive football culture for all, inspiring and empowering girls and women across all sectors in football. Our mission? Creating opportunities which enable women in football to thrive in the Pacific. We are all in. The 5 priority areas of the OFC Women's Football Strategy are participation in equal Oceania. To create an equal Oceania, OFC will increase accessibility of football for girls and women by ensuring every member association has dedicated human and financial resource for women's football. Increase the number of female players, coaches, referees and administrators by creating tailor-made programs and setting individual member association targets. Gain a better understanding of the barriers to the participation, engagement and retention of girls and women in football by conducting research on women's football. Implement new programs and initiatives to engage girls and women in football, futsal and beach soccer through the OFC Football Development Program. Create sustainable pathways linking grassroots programs to women's football to retain girls and women in football. Visibility, a visible Oceania. To create a visible Oceania, OFC will change the perception of girls and women in football by developing a women's football marketing, digital and communications strategy. Raise awareness of the opportunities available for girls and women in football by supporting each member association in developing their own women's football marketing, digital and communications strategy. Inspire and empower girls and women across the Pacific through the OFC Women's Football Ambassador Program. Elevate the profile of women's football leagues and competitions by ensuring equal marketing, communication and broadcasting standards at all OFC competitions. Increase the visibility of powerful and positive role models by promoting and profiling women in football, both on and off the pitch. Education, a stronger Oceania. To create a stronger Oceania, OFC will increase the quality of female coaches, educators, referees and administrators by running formal and informal education courses and workshops. Strengthen the knowledge, skill set and confidence of women in football through the OFC Women's Football Capacity Building Program. Protect the safety and well-being of those in football by facilitating OFC safeguarding workshops. Enhance the leadership capability of women in football through the OFC Women in Football Leadership Program. Facilitate competition management and database training through the OFC Competition Management Certificate Program. Provide opportunities and career pathways for women in football by creating tailor-made programs, workshops and job opportunities at OFC competitions. Performance, an elevated Oceania. To create an elevated Oceania, OFC will boost the development of women's football by assisting member associations in creating their own women's football strategies. Support age-appropriate development pathways to increase and retain female players by ensuring every member association has youth and senior leagues. Increase the quantity and quality of elite programs and leagues for female players. Improve standards and access to club football for female players through endorsed club licensing regulations. Launch new competitions for women's club and national teams to provide greater opportunities for female players to play at the highest level. Optimise the qualifying pathway for FIFA women's competitions for youth and senior teams by reviewing current competition formats and strengthening the women's international match calendar. Provide scholarships to educational institutions and facilitate opportunities at professional clubs for female players and coaches. Culture, an inclusive Oceania. To create an inclusive Oceania, OFC will refine regulatory frameworks, systems and structures to ensure women have equal access to all levels of football. Provide pathways and opportunities for those in women's football by creating an OFC Women's Football Steering Group with representatives from every member association. Enable and empower women to be decision makers and leaders within football by supporting women's football committees in every member association through governance and management workshops. Develop new partnerships to expand and enhance the delivery of women's football. Oceania Football Confederation, all in for an equal, visible, stronger, elevated and inclusive women's football in Oceania.
So there you have it, OFC Women's Football Strategy. Now, this wouldn't be a women's football strategy launch without hearing from one of the most influential people that we have in the game. She's represented Samoa's national football team. She actually went to high school not too far from here in Auckland, and now she's flying the Oceania flag in FIFA's head office. Please welcome Chief Women's Football Officer Sarai Behrman, who's joined by Head of Women's Football for CONCACAF, Karina LeBlanc. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Switzerland and Miami. Thank you both so much. Firstly, we'd love to hear your thoughts around OFC Women's Football Strategy. Sarai, if I can start with you first.
Sure thing. Kia ora, talofa lava, everyone. It is an absolute honour and a pleasure to be with you all this evening. I have to be honest, I've been sitting here watching this evening's events, very emotional to see, you know, the culture of the Oceania region, the Pacific, New Zealand. I'm so proud to be a woman of the Pacific region, and it really fills my heart to see this women's football strategy being launched this evening. In my role in FIFA, I'm in charge of women's football across the globe, and I am often asked the question, what is the one thing that we need to do to realise the potential of the women's game? And the truth is, there's not one thing that will elevate women's football. To really give women's football the attention it deserves, we have to address every single facet of the ecosystem of our game. And the OFC Women's Football Strategy All In does exactly this. It's broken down into those 5 areas. We heard through the video that we just watched, there are many, many objectives and key activities that will be taking place under each of those 5 areas. So it really is covering the whole ecosystem, from the grassroots to the elite, off the pitch, on the pitch, the governance, the communication, commercialization, and of course, something that is very, very important in Oceania, the social impact of our game. So I'm really, really proud of the OFC team, the dream team. It was good to see them all on the stage again. And I just want to acknowledge Frank. He's an amazing leader. He's giving props to Emma and everyone else, but Frank has really been the leader, putting this strategy in the position that it deserves to be. He's been a supporter of women's football from the very, very beginning. He was the first person to take a chance on me as a young person in Samoa. So well done to Frank and the team. You can be really proud of what you've done, and now the hard work begins.
Karina, I'd love to get your thoughts on what you've watched this evening and your thoughts about the OFC Women's Football Strategy.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. On behalf of our president, Victor Montagliani, and our general secretary, Philippe Maggio, I'm not from the islands and the area, but I would say I feel the energy, I feel the excitement. And, with having a strategy, one of the most beautiful things is that it connects people in something greater than themselves. And I can see the passion, I can see the purpose. And most importantly, at CONCACAF, when we delivered our women's football strategy, a lot of our MAs and most of our MAs felt seen and heard. And I think as we move forward in the women's game, as FIFA has started to do, and CONCACAF, we took our strategy based on theirs. And what I see with your strategy, I see all the little details that are so important. What excites me as a former player, I got to play in 5 World Cups. I get to see the world really get on this bus and really drive forward the women's game. And it's just so exciting, the energy that Sarai just spoke about. I'm not from the region, but I feel like I'm a part of the region because I connected so strongly to it. I just want to congratulate you all. I mean, from CONCACAF's perspective, we all want to be part of growing the women's game. And in seeing the steps that have been taken tonight, congratulations to all of you, because what this means is that women's football will continue to grow globally. And I have goosebumps right now. I'm telling you, I'm excited because at the end of the day, it's the people. And like we heard earlier, it's not only the people, but it's everyone taking the ownership of implementing what can I do as a personal human being to grow the women's game. And now with the strategy, everyone knows what they can do. There's vision clarity. Everyone is connected on something bigger than themselves. And at the end of the day, who wins? It's the young girls. It's the women. We now have something to believe in and connect to. So I congratulate you. And I'm so honored to be here tonight. And on behalf of Victor Montagliani and Philippe Maggio, congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. Sarai, why is a dedicated strategy for women's football so important?
Well, I think it's really clear. OFC have made a big statement this evening. They want to have 2 competitive teams playing at the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2027. And we can't get there by just wishing it comes true. We have to have a clear plan and clear steps on how to get there. So a strategy is really, really important because it lays out a roadmap, a plan. It can be referred to. Everybody knows what their responsibilities are, what are the steps that need to be taken in all the different areas. And what I love about it is that this strategy, it's not just a shelf document. It's not a big launch and now it's a book that's going to sit on the shelf. It's a living document that needs to be referred to consistently by the OFC Executive Committee, by the OFC President, Johanna, New Zealand Football President, and also Lambert. It's something that they can use to consistently check, how are we tracking? Are we doing well? Are we reaching our objectives for women's football? Are we going to have those 2 teams at the Women's World Cup in 2027? So it's really important. I think Karina said it very well. You know, it's about the people as well. It's about accountability. And what we want to see in FIFA is that every opportunity that is given to young boys through football, those same opportunities should be given to young girls. And this strategy will make sure that happens in Oceania and the Pacific.
Karina, in your experience, what is the best way to get member associations to get behind this strategy?
The most important thing is that everyone feels seen and heard. And, you know, in looking at what I've just seen in the strategy, it's been uniquely done to what's important in your region. And I think with us, we have 41 different members associations with 41 different realities. And how do you bring that together so people connect to it? And I think what you're doing tonight is the exact start of that. In being a guest here tonight, I can feel all your cultures. And I think anybody who wants to find that place to go and why should I go there, they need to feel connected to it. So for us, it was finding a strategy that everyone could connect to and feel that, you know what, I'm a part of this. I want to get on this bus. I want to be a part of this team, because in being part of successful teams, we all know that everybody needs to be on the same page, but they need to know where to go. And I think that's been one of the most important things, is that buy-in. And everybody knows that they play a role and they have to own that part. And I wish you all the best of luck, because right now I feel like I'm on your team, because this has been such a beautiful ceremony and I feel connected to who you are as people. And if I can do that, then for sure everyone within your region can do that. So once again, I just want to congratulate you. But the most important thing is that everyone looks at this strategy and believes that they play a role in it and they own the role that they have to do in this job and really take this women's game forward.
Karina, Sarai, thank you so much for your time. It was great to have you involved with tonight's strategy launch, and hopefully we can see you in a few years' time for the World Cup here. Thank you so much. Well, it's time for tonight's last cultural performance. So please welcome back Tuinga Dance Academy, who'll be performing a Samoan cultural dance.
Whaapae Samoa moni o le tausala na te soli na le awhioanga o lou lava le atofi e te sa le taualunga o le poula ua whauma ua whesi i ta iafi le fia ua tau i le te teo lola e Samoa moni le tasia e a whena la langa o matua utosi la ula sa fili matatao maini folo a manu o le vaufa apale le tuinga nona tifa ua fa ila Tau lima lau tau vae au te unga safa vae tau si mai e tua mai ana mua uloa lau maluia i ila le fea ngai ngao yolo a inga pae ma le auli e te sa alava o le suli Sulu mateteo lola e Samoa moni e tasia e a whena la langa wa matua o utosi la ula sa fili matatao maini folo amanu oleva ofa apalele suinga nona tifa uafa ila moe fama ne fatino afa fete oli maya vavai vai osia use se fa amani uliuai ile ai uliua siva mai le fati ole pese awa ole poula watetele sulu matete olola e samo amoni leta sia e afena la langa wa matua utosi la ula sa fili matatao maini folo amanu oleva fa apalele tuinga nona tifa uafa ila sulu matete olola e samo amoni leta sia e afena la langa wa matua utosi la ula sa fili matatao maini folo amanu oleva ofa apalele tuinga nona tifa uafa ila
Thank you so much to Inga Dance Academy. Another round of applause, and they do a great job tonight. Now, we are going to go live back to Switzerland, popular place, to speak to someone who has a very prestigious role leading women's football at a global level. FIFA General Secretary Fatma Samora joins us now. And Fatma, we would love to get your perspective on the strategy, if you can hear me okay.
Thank you, Naren. Indeed, we lost the connection for a few minutes, but we're great. We're back. And I would like to also add my voice to that of Sarai, Karina, President Gianni, President Lambert, Johanna, and Frank, to congratulate you for this exceptionally well-organized event. It's a great pleasure to be with all of you virtually tonight. And sitting in Tunisia, part of Africa, I can feel the positive vibes coming out of this room in Auckland. And some say that virtual event and gathering can lack emotion, but following tonight, outstanding women's football strategy presentation, the passion, dedication, and commitment for everyone from the OFC region to take women's football to the highest of the height is very, you can feel it, it's palatable. And tonight you took us also on a very executive journey, culturally, emotionally, around the Oceania, where we saw for ourselves how the culture, the tradition, and people of your region have come together to further our shared goal of advancing women's football. The FIFA President, our chief football officers and daughters of your region, Sarai, and myself are thoroughly impressed by the clear path and the plan that OFC has put in place to sustain women football growth in your region. But now comes the hard part, implementing the strategy and taking action with each of the OFC member association playing a critical role in it. At FIFA, we began taking action to advance women's football back in 2016. That year, for the first time in the history of FIFA, a division fully dedicated to women's football and headed by your daughter, the daughter of the region, was established. And since then, several critical milestones have been reached by FIFA. And the successful FIFA Women's World Cup in France showed us that our strategy was working, with many records being broken in terms of viewing and stadium attendance. Not forgetting, of course, the record broken by the US Soccer fourth FIFA Women's World Cup win and their third in a row. The new OFC women's football strategy has the potential to have a similar impact. We stand on the threshold of a momentous period in the history of women's sport, 2023, and the FIFA Women's World Cup. The eyes and the cameras of the world will be on Ocean 11, and especially on New Zealand and Australia, who are co-hosting the 9th editions of the FIFA Women's World Cup. Through your women football strategy, the OFC can demonstrate that women football is a priority, is being invested in, and that the women and girls of the Pacific region deserve every opportunity through football, both on and off the pitch. You have the chance to be change maker, as Karina was saying, to inspire the other confederation, member association, and society to further invest in women and in the women's game. You have the chance to show how progressive and equality-driven your region is and change the global conversation around women through football. I'm calling on all the FIFA Council members, member association presidents, and general secretaries tonight, and I count on your leadership, President Lambert, to realize and help us realize the goal and objective that have been laid out in this groundbreaking strategy. When women's football is given strong support from the leadership of our organization, it can truly thrive. That is something we have learned through the support of our own president, Gianni Infantino, and something that you must also take on in each of your own member association. By working together, harnessing our love of football and commitment to furthering the female game, we can bring women's football at the highest level. We would like also to see more investment in terms of financial, supporting also what FIFA is already doing by putting $1 billion under the next cycle to grow the game. I look forward to hearing more about the strategy as it is rolled out, and I would like to underline FIFA full commitment to supporting the OFC in this area. Thank you very much, Frank. Thank you very much, President Lambert. Thank you, Rajesh Patel. Thank you, Johanna, for giving us tonight the possibility to share what is the groundbreaking strategy in terms of women football growth in the 11th Ocean. I wish you a good evening, and I look forward to working with you in the build-up of the next Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us, Fatma. I think I did spy OFC President Lambert Maltock on the Zoom there. Lambert, if you can hear us, would you like to say anything before we wrap up this evening?
Yes, just on behalf of myself, I would like to say thank you very much for all those who have organized this launching. It was really historical, and it's a new milestone for OFC football in
in the region. So I would like to say thank you very much to Frank and Emma and all the group in the OFC. We've all put all the thoughts together to make this possible. And then this is not easy, but I'm really proud that this has been done during my mandate. And that was the same thing that President Gianni has said. So this is one of the mandates that we would like to see football, women football, to develop in Oceania. I would also like to thank all the groups that have from the group from all the communities in New Zealand, the Maorian community and also the Samoan community who have taken part in this. So I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who have contributed to this evening. It was really an outstanding evening, and it is historical, and I would like to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for everything that we have done tonight. And this is a new stepping stone for the women football in Oceania. I would like to see that during my mandate, if I continue, I would like to see that 2 teams will qualify in 2027. And I will be committing myself to do that. Thank you very much, and good luck. And I salute all the women in Oceania, all those who have been before like pioneers, and they continue to push forward for the women football development in Oceania. So I salute them all. Thank you for what they have done this far.
Thank you so much, Lambert.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. To help close the ceremony, I'm going to invite Johanna Wood back up for a few final words, and Johanna's been pretty popular tonight. What's this, 3rd time on the stage? So Johanna, if you can please make your way up. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Narelle. What an evening. Whoops. What an evening. It's amazing, I think, where we've come from and where we're going to. It's my honour tonight to thank you, our guests. We've got a number of online guests that have been joining us tonight. We've got Data Windsor from Asian Football Confederation. We've got representatives from the UEFA Foundation, Football Australia, Chris and James. I saw you on the screen earlier. I'm not sure if there are more of you there, our co-hosts with the Women's World Cup. President Infantino, President Maltock. We have also got our OFC member association presidents that have joined us virtually online, and we're grateful for that. Can't go past saying our last 2 guests, Sarai and Karina, thank you very, very much for joining us tonight. It's lovely to see you. In the room, we have a number of special people and I'm not going to name you all because I'll miss somebody out, so I'm going to do it in groups. I'd like to say thank you to our representatives from the High Commission from a number of our Pacific islands. We've got representatives from Women in Sport, Aotearoa, Māori Football Association, Aotearoa. We've got representatives here from, and they should be here, from New Zealand Football and its member representatives, so not just New Zealand Football staff and board, but also from our membership. So thank you for making the time and the effort to come and being part of this. Ōrākei board members. We have representatives here from UN Women Aotearoa. We have representatives from the FIFA Women's World Cup team, which is growing because we have a bit of a competition coming in a few years. We have representative from Sport New Zealand. We've got FIFA staff who are based here in New Zealand, and we have got sponsors. So thank you to you all for being here. It's a real privilege for us to have you here and for you to share in this exciting journey. And just before I finish, I'd like to say thank you to you, Narelle, for keeping us in line tonight, helping us celebrate, and it's been a pleasure working with you today. Thank you.
Well, thank you for those kind words, Johanna, and a big thank you to all of our guest speakers who've joined us here in Auckland and from across the world. And of course, a big thanks to everyone who made it out tonight and those watching through our live stream. It's been a pleasure having you here for this exciting new strategy, All In. Now, before you go, make sure you grab a gift bag. I'm not sure. Oh, there they are. They're over there. For those of you overseas, I've been told yours are in the mail. Seriously, they are actually in the mail. But for those of you who are in Auckland, please stay, have a drink, have a chat, and a few more bits of food if there's any left. That'd be nice. But we are officially going to close the ceremony so those joining us around the world can get on with their own cocktail parties without having to listen to me. So I'd like to welcome Marka from Māori Football Aotearoa to wrap up the event. So thank you so much and good night.
Tapa tū ki te rangi whakaea kauana. Kei runga te kōti pū, kei raro te kōti hono, kei kaunā koutou mihi mai, tangi mai ai. Kia ora everybody. So within the Māori worldview, upholding women is a tikanga we hold dearly. And us here at Māori Football Aotearoa, and no doubt everybody here, this event, this upholding of women is long overdue, I guess. But we acknowledge Frank for in your team, for the hard work that you've gone into to uplifting our wahine within the soccer, within the football scene. Nō reira, I'll close with our karakia. But before that, I want us to be all involved with this karakia. So at the end of my karakia, there's a part where I say, haumie, huie, tāikie. So I want everybody in this room to come in with tāikie. To say tāikie is to affirm that you agree with this event, you agree with this launch, okay? Because we're all, like in the words of the great Johanna, we're all in. Because if you're not here, well, it's a long way from this veranda to the water, and we don't want to be throwing anybody off this veranda. See? So just a run through. Haumie, huie, ka pai. So me noi tātou. Tēnei te nini, tēnei te nāna, tēnei te pautaurori. Uruana te whare au winuku kia herea ki reire ko te hihi, te tapu, te mana, ko tiki ki runga, ka whana tuahau i runga te puke te wāna o ngā tauhira. Tēnei te nini, tēnei te nāna, āwhinatia, puritia, kiau, tūturu o whiti whakamaua kia tīna, haumie, huie, tāiki, tēnā tātou.
And thank you everyone for bearing with us. And now I believe we are officially done. So please grab a drink and grab some food and let's mingle. Thanks so much.